The new UNC System President visits Pembroke as part of her 17-campus tour.
And hundreds of pets seized in a raid finally get their forever homes. I'm Brianna Goins.
And I'm Terrence Jeffries. You're watching Carolina News Today. Her appointment made headlines at the time, but now the new UNC System President is settling into her job by touring all the universities in the state system. CNT's Jonathan Royce covered her visit to Pembroke.
Earlier this month, new UNC System President Margaret Spellings took office, and she's been on a tour of all the campuses in the system. Today, she stopped in Pembroke. Margaret Spellings. She comes to the University of North Carolina system from the executive branch.
After college, I went to Austin and worked around the state legislature and ended up working for then Governor George W. Bush, who went on to become the president. And I went to Washington, where I worked in the White House.
In the White House, she served as director of the President's Council on Domestic Policy, and in 2005, named U.S. Secretary of Education. Earlier in the day, she met with students from our Sustainability Office and presented the university with a gift.
Well, I brought you all a dogwood tree that, as luck would have it, was blooming and just beautiful. And so we had a great photo op around the beautiful dogwood, and I look forward to seeing it planted and growing when I come back next. Between now and the end of this school year, I will have been to every single institution in this system, and everywhere I go, I'm bringing a beautiful tree that they can plant.
Though she's been criticized for her work in the for-profit sector of higher education, some of her harshest critics are decrying her perceived stance on the LGBTQ community. She contends there isn't a discriminatory bone in her body. While she was here, she visited the university's landmark building, Old Main. She toured the museum and spent some time at the Office for Diversity and Inclusion. After meeting with students in the Inclusion Office, Spellings said students could be assured that her own views and tenure as president would be inclusive.
Absolutely, and let me say my personal beliefs are inclusive, that every single student that is in this institution, every single faculty member that serves their state, must be embraced and supported and rewarded. And my job, my solemn oath to this institution is to make sure that we have opportunity available to every single student and every single person who works here.
Throughout her inaugural tour, the president's Twitter page has been active, logging trip details and photos with students she's met along the way. She ended her day at a reception here at the Entrepreneurship Incubator. From Pembroke, she moves on to complete a tour of all the system campuses. For Carolina News Today, I'm Jonathan Royce.
President Spellings snapped quite a few photos with students while she was here. How did you manage to get into one, Terrence?
Well, I was actually out distributing newspapers for the Pine Needle, and I walked straight in on the event, and the honoree herself decided to take a picture with me because of the shirt I had on.
She sounds nice. Dr. Steve Berkwin has been awarded a Board of Governors Award for Excellence in Teaching. Dr. Berkwin is the chair of UNCP's Department of Math and Computer Science. He is a winner annually from each of the state universities. Dr. Berkwin will be honored at spring commencement with a bronze medallion and a $12,500 stipend. Dr. Berkwin has been teaching at UNCP since 2003 and has twice won campus-based awards for teaching. He is scheduled to be at our commencement speaker in December.
The UNCP Model Arab League took home 12 awards from the Southern Regional Model Arab League Conference in South Carolina. The team of 16 students is led by Dr. Kirill Booman. In addition to individual awards for community work, the group won as Outstanding Delegation for representing Saudi Arabia overall. Next up for the team is the Model United Nations in Charlotte in April.
Other enrichment opportunities for students include professional conferences. CNT's Kipper Week shows us what students in our chapter of National Broadcasting Society did at their annual conference in LA.
2 UNCP students recently attended the 74th Annual National Broadcasting Society Conference in Burbank, California. With their bags all packed and ready to go, Ashley Wood and Annabelle Russell began their journey from East Coast to West Coast, a trip that consisted mainly of wandering around
to Indianapolis. With that said, rollerboard bags will not fit on board the aircraft.
and waiting. Before they boarded their final flight to Studio City, the pair talked about what they look forward to getting out of this opportunity.
I'm really hoping to learn more about the broadcasting in general and hoping to get a lot of connections while there.
Going to this conference, I hope to gain experience and kind of connections with broadcasting, because I want to do sports. So hopefully I find people that are in sports and get a connection and see how they got to where they been and accomplished what they've gone in life to do.
Once at the 5-day conference, they were able to attend session after session after session, covering a wide variety of topics that focused on news and studio productions. One of these sessions was held by Joe Fryer, a correspondent for NBC News. Fryer talked about the path that led him to his current career and also answered questions from students.
Well, a convention like this is great for students because, first of all, they get to hear from professionals. They get to hear what professionals did when they were that age and sort of how they built their careers. And they get to learn that not every path is the same. Last night was a great example where the two keynote speakers talked about very different paths, but both ended up in the right direction. And that's kind of the way this business is. Sometimes there's people who know what they want to do from the beginning and they pursue all those courses in college and they go all the way through. Sometimes there's people who study something completely differently in college, pursue another path, but end up in the broadcasting industry. And really at the end of the day, I think it's all about the experience you get and just how quickly you learn to pick up certain skills that really is the reason that people can be successful in this business.
Exhausted after the conference, Ashley and Annabelle began the trip back to campus. They mentioned the main takeaway from the experience is that it's vital to get involved with your major any chance you can get, which is something Ashley knew before going to the conference.
Students have plenty of opportunities to go out because, they just have to get out there and don't sit in their room all the time and just, I need to do this, I need to do that. They should just go out there and go for it. And so if they just do that, then there's plenty of opportunities to go California, anywhere across the country if they wanted to. So
this idea of doing it was echoed by Fryer, who said it's important to get involved in any way you can, even if that means starting something yourself.
If your college has student media organizations, whether it's a newspaper, a magazine, a radio station, a TV station, definitely you want to try and do those things. If they don't, look to the community you're in. Almost every community has something, even if it's a weekly newspaper or some sort of magazine that's maybe an artistic magazine that comes out once a month or once a week. In this day and age with the internet, you can honestly produce your own content and put it online and sort of create your own platform and your own brand and hope that people see it using social media. So the opportunities are always there. The key is just to get that experience and preferably try and get it where someone you can actually work with and learn from and get feedback about the work that you're doing.
So be sure to grab any opportunity that may come your way or create your own opportunities. For Carolina News Today, I'm Kipper Weeks.
In January, we told you about animal cruelty charges after a raid on a shelter in Radford. All those dogs and cats rescued from the Haven were finally cleared this month for adoption. Animal lovers came out in force over the weekend to show they care.
Rows and rows of empty cages are what hopeful pet owners found by noon on Saturday, the second day of a planned 3-day event. Hundreds of dogs and cats rescued from the Haven had already been adopted on Friday. The couple of dogs and cats left were elderly or needed a little TLC, but they were spoken for and just waiting for processing. Adoptions were free after the application, interview, and consultation. The animals were medically evaluated, vaccinated, and chipped in advance, so the opportunity was too good to pass up for those who had been waiting for word since the high-profile rescue in January.
We were here looking for a specific dog, Dana, because we'd fostered her briefly before, but she must have been adopted yesterday because she's not here. It's good that they've all found homes. I think that's really great because normally dogs and cats don't go out so fast, especially the ones with medical needs. But I'm also kind of sad that she just isn't here. It's mixed feelings, yeah.
Volunteers and ASPCA staff came from all over, including from headquarters in New York.
It's a national project. It was the Hope County Sheriff's Office on January 27th with the New York State Department of Agriculture for North Carolina. We provided assistance to them, the National ASPCA, with the seizure of nearly 700 animals. And so as the ASPCA has been holding this temporary shelter here and working with these animals and getting them ready for today. We have a lot of volunteers, and of course we've had a lot of donor support with this operation, but the turnout's been amazing. We've had about 70 people on the ground daily on average just getting all of these animals ready.
People drove an hour or more to the facility in Sanford, but had to be turned away Saturday. They were directed to other regional shelters with weekend hours for adoption.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. You guys have a good day. Good luck finding your new fur baby. Thank you.
Farm animals and others not suitable for home adoption are in protective custody in another location until they can find their forever homes.
Pollen levels in North Carolina are approaching their highest levels soon, mid-spring being the time of year when many native trees are flowering. The North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality is advising people who are sensitive to pollen to limit their time outdoors until the levels go down. Keeping doors and windows closed can also be helpful in reducing pollen levels inside. A high level is considered to be when the daily counts exceed 270 grains per cubic meter. Already this year, pollen counts have reached as high as 450 in Raleigh, with the highest ever in the state being over 3,000 6 years ago.
A man from Robeson County has been arrested for felony larceny and obtaining property by false pretense. According to the North Carolina Department of Insurance, Eric Daniel Oxidine is accused of stealing a saw worth almost $2,000 from a local volunteer fire department and selling it for his own personal gain. Oxidine was placed under an $18,000 bond.
PayPal will be opening a global operations center in Charlotte, North Carolina. This facility will bring 400 jobs to the area. The center's payroll is expected to be about $20.4 million per year for Mecklenburg and the surrounding counties. PayPal is a leader in digital payments and has 179 million active accounts. This global platform allows customers to receive payment in more than 100 currencies. North Carolina's Economic Investment Committee has also approved a job development investment grant that would make PayPal eligible to receive over $2 million in reimbursements over 12 years.
Students make their March Madness predictions.
And baseball hopes to extend their win streak.
This and more in sports when we come back.
March Madness is a time for colleges to shine on the hardwood in front of thousands in the stands and millions of viewers at home. It's also a madness for those who filled out their brackets. Several upsets already, meaning there's probably nobody left with the perfect bracket. With 16 teams left, we asked students for their predictions on which teams will be left standing in Houston on April 4th.
I'm hoping UNC.
UNC Tar Heels.
Stick with my gut and say Carolina's going to take it all.
I have to go with Chapel Hill for at least making it to the final game.
Well, I think they're young and they have a lot of talent, and I'm a man that goes with my gut, and something is just telling me that they're going to pull it together and take it.
Talent up and down their lineup. They've got real good depth. Bryce Johnson, his energy on the court's incredible.
Bryce Johnson and Marcus Page are having an incredible year, and they're just like, I'm pretty sure they're going to win.
I think the University of Miami from Florida will upset and take the dub.
I'm a really big Duke fan, but I don't think they're going to win since they're 4 seeds, so I'm thinking that either Oregon or Kansas might win.
They've got the depth. They play together as a team. They look pretty strong.
Now that West Virginia's lost and that there's a lot of upsets, like I said, and I wasn't expecting this to happen, so yeah, it's pretty much busted now.
Let's see, the Yale game.
Michigan State lost, and that ruined it pretty well.
Compared to the group that I'm in, it's still pretty manageable, but no bracket is going to be good. It's just who has the best out of the worst brackets.
Standing at 18-8, the Braves finished out their homestand against Chowan this week, looking to capitalize on their 20-5 win on Tuesday. We jumped to the bottom of the sixth. The Braves up 6-5. Hayden Buffkin sends one to left field for a one-out double. 2 batters later, Alex Minton strikes out on the ball in the dirt, and Buffkin uses his speed to put another run on the board after Chowan's first baseman missed the bag. Bottom 7, Braves up 8-5. Nolan Pierce slams the second hit of the day over the left field wall for a 3-run homer, making it an 11-5 game. That will be the final score as Kyle Ramsey held Chowan's offense in check, notching a team-high 3 strikeouts, leading the Braves to their 20th win of the season. On tap for this weekend is a trip to Young Harris for a 3-game series. Starting this month, winning 6 out of 7 games, Braves softball have lost 7 in a row after getting swept in North Georgia this week. 5 hits and 1 run were all the Braves could tally in the doubleheader, as pitcher Katie Saunders went 7 innings, giving up 7 hits and 4 earned runs. After 10 games on the road, the Braves play Limestone this week at home, hoping to end their longest losing streak of the year. UNC Pembroke's track and field traveled to Chapel Hill over the weekend, and senior Janelle Brown finished 4th in the shot put with a toss of 13.57 meters. She also finished 6th place in the discus throw and 7th in the hammer throw. Brown also registered an NCAA provisional qualifying mark for shot put, which earned her Athlete of the Week honors for the Peach Belt. She is also the only athlete to hit a provisional mark in the shot put this season, ranked 7th in Division II. Zeke Hoggs and Jamel Jeffcoat finished 2nd and 3rd in the triple jump as well. UNCP will compete this weekend at both the Raleigh Relays and the Wingate Invitational. That's it for sports. Back to the studio.
Thanks, Dolphus, and that's it for Carolina News Today.
Thanks for watching.